Adani Webster. I don't even know where to start when it comes to this girl. And I look at this first question and I look at all of these qualities you guys have listed and I see unheralded inspiration to other students. And I think that personally, this is the one that I'm able to speak to because she's inspired me, and I think that there's lots of students on this campus that inspire me because they're amazing at math and they can do multivariable calculus by the time they're in third form. And students who are crazy track runners and have this beautiful natural ability to sprint faster than anything I've ever seen. But really, it's these qualities in Adani that have personally motivated me almost on a daily basis to continue to work and to strive to be the best I can be, and really strive to be the best person I can be every day. And I think that it is her self-guided and self-originating motivation on a daily basis, like every second of the day, that's completely unrecognized by the St. Paul's community. And I think a really good example of this is just like a couple days ago, I was kind of feeling down in the dumps, didn't really want to go to school, didn't want to wake up for that 8:30 chapel, and I kind of dragged myself to breakfast, hoodie up, AirPods in, really, really not feeling it. And I see Adani trudging through the upper in her jacket with her backpack on, going right in the lowest. She sits down, plops herself down on her smoothie, and just starts studying. And it's like 6:45 a.m. Everyone else is sluggish. I am barely awake. And Adani is already up and at 'em and already working. And it's just amazing how much motivation she can have and how no one needs to tell her to wake up at 6 or no one needs to tell her to study at breakfast. She just does it. And she does it, I feel like, because she loves it, because there's no way that motivation can come solely from the motivation of grades. I know there's no way that an HH plus could wake me up at 5:45 in the morning. Debatable, depends on what class. But continuing on, an event that inspired creativity. So this is a lot easier for me to speak to because I can really pinpoint a single individual event. And I think that this was really manifested in her choice to take an ISP next year. So I wasn't super fully aware of this program, didn't really know what it was. And I really found out about it through Adani. And the reason that this is creative is because Adani has always liked musical theater. Before she came here, she did lots of plays. She's a beautiful, beautiful singer. If you've ever heard her sing, if you've ever been in chapel, you've heard her sing. And when she came here, it turns out that although they said before she came there would be a lot of musical theater, there ended up not being a lot of musical theater. And I know that she's spoken to me multiple times about how upsetting this is because it's really a huge part of who she is. And now in our sixth form year, she found a way to do that here at SPS, and that was through the ISP program. And it was really amazing to see. I had a class with one of the teachers that she asked to be the counselor to her ISP, and he was telling us about how she's gonna do her own musical theater project. And I mean, that in itself is a creative project to be able to do that and to organize that. And again, tying back into that motivation, being able to create something like that really on her own. And that was really cool because that got me into the ISP program, and I started looking into what I would want to do. And I ended up taking an ASP, which is a similar program, but basically was able to myself find a way to continue to do what I love that this St. Paul's teachers or courses or curriculum doesn't exactly offer. And that was crazy. That changed the projectile of my sixth form year, changed the projectile of what I'm going to study in college, or at least what I think I'm going to study in college. And that was really cool. And I mean, that's a really good, tellable story. But when I think of the ways in which Adani is creative, it's not in those big events. It's just on, a daily basis. And I know I kind of already touched on this a little in the application I wrote to submit her for a NAMI at all, was in this hiking trip we took over the summer. And again, I mentioned before, I don't know if you remember this, but I talked about how she had never like done anything about like this before. I do it all the time. It's what I love to do. It's my time to relax, and I flung Adani along on this trip, and it was amazing to see how adaptive she was to what we were doing. And it was just these little things that really amazed me. Everything, like, I think one of the coolest things is that we have these pills you put in water, and they basically, you have to put one in, you wait a little bit, and it desterilizes it, and then you put another one in, and it gets rid of the sterilization thing, and it tastes disgusting. But Adani figured out that if you took the pill and stuck it on the underside of your cap, of your water bottle, and kept it there, then the water would lap at it gradually, which actually allowed it to dissolve slower, which is what you want, before you'd have to like stir it, wait a little bit, stir it, but it allowed it to like stir itself. Anyway, I know this is totally off a tangent, but it's just so crazy the way that she can be so innovative with what she has. And the case of the ISP of what isn't there and using what is there to create something that she wants and to get things done. And the reason that this is unheralded and isn't usually recognized by the SPS community is that we come to recognize people who are like visibly successful and stuff. So like the Summa Cum Laude Society that was announced today, those are the students that are in the highest math classes, that have the highest grades, and that is what dictates their success. And I have nothing, I think it's amazing. I have a lot of really good friends who were announced this morning, which is amazing. But something that doesn't really factor in, the SPS doesn't factor in, is starting point. So I know Adani came from a school in New Hampshire that didn't have the strongest math program, so she came in having to take Algebra 1, which is crazy because when you look at that from an outside perspective, you're like, Algebra 1, that's kind of a low math class, like what's going on there? But you know, it wasn't her fault. It was where her program had set her up to be. And the crazy thing is how she's able to throw herself into that, and she's it's really hard for her, but she's excelling regardless. And it's really unfortunate that strive, how hard she's working in that, even though it doesn't seem to be the highest class on a transcript, it's really impressive how quickly she's been able to like pick it up. And I know that I'm not particularly the best math student ever. And so I understand her struggle with math, and Adani and I share that, and that we both don't love math. Of course, it's necessary, but it's just crazy to see how she's able to completely neglect the fact that, yeah, it might be lower level math class, but she's still going to throw herself into it. And it's just that strive the SPS community doesn't see. I'm going to flip back to your description because I want to make sure I cover everything. Because Adani is just this, like, she is the embodiment of this award. So originality, creativity, capacity for self-direction, measurable, unheralded qualities. Inspiration of fellow students. So yeah, she's inspired me. Other members of the St. Paul's community. I'll touch on this briefly and then I'll end so you don't have to listen to a 10-minute long recording of me sitting in my study space. I think one really cool thing that I noticed with Adani is she is that kid who always stays after classes. And again, that isn't factored into the Summa Cum Laude or the graduation awards that you get. And you get to walk across the stage and you get all this applause for your accomplishments, because that's just not something that we recognize. And I am in biology with Adani right now, and it is more often than not that I am walking out of class and I hear her talking with Miss Hamilton about extra fascinating things. And I'm a student of biology. I love biology, I love neuroscience, and I'm walking out and I hear but wait, how did we start from this splur of atoms, and how did that finally just kind of vibrate itself into an organism? Which is a crazy question if you really think about it. There's that's a point when you question, well, is it God? Or is it, what is it that allowed this chance to happen? Or if you look at it from the physics lens, is this is this just because everything that can happen will happen, regardless? A little bit nerdy rant there, but it's crazy to see how, like, even though she may struggle in that class, she still wants to go deeper, and that's really valuable to me, and I think that just shows what an impressive student she is. And I think I want to just conclude this with saying, I mean, if there's any other questions you have about her, I'd love to answer them. And I really hope that you guys will consider her for this award, because I know that she deserves it. And I know that she can take it somewhere, if that makes sense. But thank you.